This is flirty, dirty, and bookish. Welcome to the dark side.
Listen if you dare.
Okay, guys, we are back for the third book of the Steel Roses series with Vicious Chaos.
This book,
yeah, is vicious and
Oh, yeah.
gory and bloody, but sexy and fun and traumatic and everything.
It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot of book.
Yes,
It's not even
it has
like,
everything in it.
Yeah, everything's there. And like a lot of everything. There's a lot of blood, a lot of sex, a lot of emotions, a lot of healing and dealing with things and mistakes.
Acceptance and
I cried.
and laughed.
Yep.
I laughed and cried.
And laughed and cried some more.
Yeah, it was an experience.
This was probably the most roller coaster book of the entire series.
The entire time I was like this. Like seriously, like oh my god, I couldn't keep up.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah, not at all. No, I absolutely love this book, but definitely there was just so much. Your emotions are all over the place. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. In the best way possible, but also it just like has your emotions like in a chokehold. But yeah, this book all over the place with your emotions because it starts off exactly where the last book ended, which means it also starts off exactly where Deadly Chaos Deadly Chaos.
Damaged and Deadly.
Damaged and Deadly. Jesus Christ.
It is where Deadly Chaos ends.
Where Deadly Chaos ends, and then it's where Damaged and Deadly starts. But it's from Scar's POV, and you finally truly find out what happened with Rachel
after both of them fainted.
Jade only partially knew.
Yeah.
So I guess Rachel had like been stabbed by Romano's guys as a warning because she's close to them, and she was getting stitched up and everything was fine, and then she like decided to run away before she was like cleared and then bled out on their doorstep because she had to warn them and tell her that Jade is in fact her sister. And then Alex shows up, and this is like the true like moment when you really realize
how
that
much
Alex and Rachel are together. And like they're like actually a couple and they really love each other and all that because he is so angry. And then you kind of realize, oh, he's angry like Cade would be. Yeah. Not angry like, you know, Mikey and Ronan would be. He's angry like the boys. Okay, they're together. They're in love. I love this. This is great. Cool. Well, now throughout this like book, they are like, okay, well, obviously they had to bring Rachel in more. We saw it throughout Damaged and Deadly, where they kind of worked through Jade and her end up getting closer by the end of the book, whatever. Yeah. Well, we saw the other side of it in this one, which is what me and Morgan had that debate about in the last one, and that is that Scar was actually pushing Rachel and Jade together without like Jade knowing she was doing it.
Basically, she was just putting them in a room together so Jade could make a decision.
Yeah. She's giving Jade the opportunity, not making the decision for her, just throwing Rachel in there. Exactly. And that's kind of how it was going. And she also told Rachel, I'm not going to force anything. I'll let you be here when she's here. I'll make it work so that you're coming to visit us here.
Apart.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to make sure instead of you coming to the office at Steel Roses anymore, you're going to come here to our office.
She runs her office out of Thorn.
Yeah, Rachel runs her office out of Thorns. When Rachel comes,
Steel Roses.
Yeah, I meant to. When Rachel comes to talk to Luca and stuff like that, he would always have her meet him at Steel Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that hers is Thorns, but I was saying like Scar's saying like when you're coming to meet with us instead of going to Steel Roses, you can come here, and then that way, you know, when Jade's here, whatever, you have the opportunity to talk. So we're not going to touch much on it because obviously you guys, besides that, we talked about all of the Rachel and Jade stuff really in the last episode, so it's not really necessary for us to talk about it now. Just had to get that part kind of out of the way.
But one thing we didn't know in Damaged and Deadly is they kept Ciara's body.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did keep Ciara's body, and that's going to be something that we'll bring up later. But yeah, they have his body frozen in a freezer, which of course you don't find out at the beginning of the book because the book lines up
Yeah.
with Damaged and Deadly, and Damaged and Deadly stops when you're at about like 65% of the way through Vicious Chaos. So it does go quite a bit before like you really pick up on anything. You're just more seeing like what Scar and the boys were doing while Ian and Jade were like going through their whole thing. Yeah, there's like so much in this book. I think one of the funniest things, it wasn't even that funny, it was more like the guys' reactions is when Scar went with the guys to Thorns to have a meeting with Rachel and Alec, and this guy who looks like Alec is pinning Rachel up against the wall, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you know, like, it's Alec, but then it's like, well, he's not really acting like Alec. And then it seemed like they were fighting, and the guy, like, storms by them. Well, Alec would have said something. Like, it's kind of, like, weird, and then Scar's like, I wonder if he has a twin or whatever, and the guy's like, you're dumb. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, don't be ridiculous, Scar. Well, they go up to the room, and Alec's in the room, and she's like, well, then how is he already here? And they're like, shut up. Like, there's no way. Like, he could have, they know this building, like, the back of their hand. He could have ended up here. Well, then, Rachel comes in, and now Rachel and Alec are in the room, but they seem fine. And then, another man comes in, who appears to be Alec's doppelganger, proving Scar right, that Alec does in fact have a twin, except he is nothing like Alec at all, other than looks.
Alec is fun and nice and kind, and as Scar would call his twin, he is dark and douchey.
Yeah, and not in the kind of way we like.
Thing ever.
Oh, it's so funny. She calls him dark and douchey. It's so funny. Alec gets a kick out of it.
Yeah. He's like, who the fuck? It's hilarious. She's like, who the fuck is dark and douchey over here? And Alec is just killing himself laughing.
Yeah. Now, I don't remember if we mentioned the Alvarados in the last episode or not, because they weren't a huge part of it, but they were mentioned in the last book. Basically, they are huge, like, weapon dealers in their worlds, and they're kind of like
friends-ish. Basically,
well, not really,
so not
right now is what I'm like explaining it right now is how Nico's involved, because they weren't friends.
Why we knew about them though is because as soon as they declared war against Romano, the Alvarados were like, we're out.
Yeah, so basically Alvarados, they're their own species. They're not like under anybody or anything like that. They're not directly connected. In honesty, they probably have the most power, and they were working with Romano after the war had been declared. Obviously, in the last book, like we talked about, they separated from Romano because they're like, fuck this, we don't want the bad publicity with you, like, we're not dealing with it. And then they ended up liking how Scar was handling things, so they kind of wanted to build a relationship with her, and Alex said that he had the connection, and that's how they had heard about it, but he said that they couldn't meet the guy yet because Scar would eat him alive. Well, the guy is Alec's twin brother who ran away years ago and actually works for the Alvarados. And that's how Nico comes into play and why he really gets like involved with them. I don't even know like how like he's there a lot throughout this book, but like he doesn't really do much besides piss everybody off. So like, is he helping? Not really. But he's there, and he's dark, and he's douchey, and obviously he's gonna end up with Rachel somehow. They have some kind of past. And that's all we're gonna talk about Mr. Dark and Douchey right now, but there's definitely more with him, but
there is.
But that's what you need to know about Mr. Dark and Douchey. But yeah, and then after that, it's just a lot of like Scar talks to the guys a lot more in this book, I would say. Like, I feel like you understand. Yeah, they all finally connect. They're all sharing secrets with each other. No one's really hiding anything from each other anymore. The guys are getting closer. Scar is getting closer to each of her men because she's finally being honest. but in turn, because she's finally being honest, there's a lot of things that they feel they can now tell her that they hadn't told her
Hmm.
before. And that's how the I love you start. And I highlighted every single I love you in this book
Hmm.
They were
because
so cute.
they were all so different, but all
Hmm.
meant so much. Some of them were just thrown out there in the heat of the moment. Some of them were well thought out because this is something they were talking about was super deep and it just came out. Like, I think Declan and Luca probably opened up like the most in this book. Because I would say
For
Ryder's
sure.
been like a pretty open book throughout the whole thing.
Well,
I
Ryder like
Well, yeah.
mirrors exactly what Scar puts out. So like if
exactly,
Hmm.
she's
yeah,
in, he's in. If she's distant, he's
yeah.
distant. Cade, we're well aware that this man loved her the second he realized who she was again.
Yeah. But it's also not just
Noah,
about love. I mean, like, their past and everything like that. But with Kate, it's more like, well, he didn't really open up ever, but at the same time, he didn't really have to because he's known Scar for so long.
same with
He
Luca,
did,
sort
yeah.
of.
Luca
Luca,
had a little more to open up about because him and Scar were together for 10 years in this, or 8 years in the same space, but they, like, had distanced themselves emotionally from each other.
right, exactly. So like
Yeah,
yeah, there wasn't like a big like, oh, by the way, I love you, which they knew that. They both know that they
yeah,
loved each other, but he opened up and became less broody,
yeah.
stoic. He became like he just like fully accepted it basically.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was, yeah, that was kind of his. And then Noah Noah opened up in the second book, so there wasn't like a lot for Noah to open up
Yeah.
to in this book. He was kind of just waiting for Scar to like be ready for that. He kind of just has always done it that way where he watches her, waits, sees how she's feeling, and then when he thinks it's okay, then he'll like say something.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I think Declan probably opened up the most in this book. We learned the most about
Definitely.
Declan. I mean, I feel like Ryder changed the most,
Yes.
but with Ryder, it didn't feel like he was opening up more just because, whereas with everybody else, we didn't see the actual event that caused them to be this way. With Ryder, we got him when he was like freshly broken. And so we've already seen it all. There's not a lot for him to open up about.
I feel like Ryder accepted himself more in this book. He was like
Yeah.
embraced his crazy, embraced his personality, embraced the other boys,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
more so like was like I can be me and everybody can accept it. In the
Yeah.
first book, he was like this
He
person who
was
was safe
broken.
and then exactly in a shell of himself. The second book, he was just
He's a
learning on
drunk.
how everybody was. Yeah,
Yeah.
learning how everybody was and like slowly was like, well,
Yeah.
this is my life now, but was sort of still like,
Not sure where he fit, how
but
he
now
fit.
he like embraced his crazy and it's like, fuck yeah, guys,
Yeah.
let's go.
I did also notice about Ryder in this book is that he realized, because I mean, we all realized it way before Ryder did, um, that he understood Scar better than any of the rest of them did. And because they're the same, he is the male version of Scar. They have similar scars and they both lost their sisters and it turned them into the same kind of monster. And but I think he finally realized that himself in this book because when she's like fighting with Kate and Luca, or uh, Declan and Noah are being like their stoic selves, where they're kind of like they're not fighting with her, but like they're acting like they know better than she does in that moment. Um, Ryder learned that he actually knew her better in those moments, and he would remove her from the situation. And as much as it would piss the other guys off, whatever he was gonna go do, he always knew how to like calm her down and chill her out because he has the same emotions. He has the same like
Yeah.
reactions to things now. So
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it was good for all of them. I think that was Ryder's growth. Luca's growth was learning that it's okay to talk about things and not bury it all down. I think Cade learned a lot about the fact that um it's okay to have like a broken past and still be like happy now, and like it's okay to like be upset about it, but you don't need to go and like fight just so you can forget about your pain. Like instead you can talk to someone you love and it doesn't have to always be the same person. Like and I think he opened up to a lot more people. Like he became closer with a lot more because he was friends with a lot of people before. He probably had the most friends, but he was probably the most distant from everyone. Even though he was surrounded by people the most, he didn't like
He
he
was
wasn't
only
like
really
fully
ever close
himself.
to Luca and
And
Scar.
Scar. And I feel like everybody else kind of like kept more at a distance, even if it wasn't like as obvious that he was doing it as it can be with like Scar or Declan or Luca. Like it was way more obvious with them. But with Cade, like there's just like those little things where you're like, okay, well, like, you know, that's something he
Cade
probably
doesn't
wouldn't have
trust
done.
easily.
Yeah.
As much
So
as it
he
may
learned to
seem,
trust.
he doesn't
Yeah.
trust easily.
Yeah. And he gets hurt very easily. And I think he also learned that it's okay to like forgive. He still has to work on that though, because we definitely have some problems with it in the next book, but he's getting there. He's getting better. Um and Declan surprised me. Um I didn't think his past was gonna be what it was. I mean,
Hmm.
we knew he came from the same world as Scar, and we knew that he hated it, and because of just like the fact that this is a book, that it probably was kind of similar, but it was the like girl best friend to Madeline that I did not see coming from a mile away. I didn't
Yeah,
see
Mhm.
that.
no,
It was,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was really shocking, but
yeah,
sad.
it makes so much sense how he
100%.
reacted to her in that
yeah.
bar and afterwards.
That he
Yep.
really
And
did just want to be friends, and he just wanted to be there for someone because he felt like
he
he could
just wanted to save
save
someone
someone.
because he couldn't save her. And it
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes so much sense why he's a doctor.
yeah,
Hmm.
He has a savior
yeah.
complex,
He's
Oh,
for
really
sure.
such a
fuck
good doctor.
He failed one
yeah.
person, so he's not going to fail anybody again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of Declan telling Scar about that is that he let it go enough to know that it wasn't his fault. Like he may always feel a little guilty about it, obviously, because you can't really help it, you're human, but I think he knows deep down now that it wasn't his fault. And also he
I,
hadn't talked about her since the whole thing, like so getting that off his chest must have felt like
mhm.
you know, relieving. And he was so much more open with the other guys after that too. But yeah, so like there was a lot, they were a lot more open with their emotions this book. So that's kind of like the emotional aspect. There is something we'll talk about in a little bit here.
Mhm.
That's like the thing that actually made me sob my eyes out, but we'll get to
Yeah.
that. Um but the other aspect of this book is obviously all the murder that happens. There's always
My
so
all-time
much
favorite
blood.
murder I've ever read is in this book.
Oh,
Yeah, so
what is
there,
it?
It is when they have, okay, so there's this bitch, and her name is Taylor.
and she's been around since like book one causing like issues, but
She
like
just wants in
small.
fucking Luca's pants so badly.
Mhm.
Fair.
So
And
badly.
Scar has had enough, so she follows her out of the club, finds out that she's actually an informant for Romano, and goes,
Yeah.
great, I actually have an excuse to kill this bitch I've been wanting to kill for so long. Gets her, kidnaps her, chains her to a wall, cuts her tongue out while Kate's fucking her.
Yeah. Because she did call Cade.
Yeah,
And that's actually they said I love you then.
yep,
Actually, I think that's when their I love you
I
happened.
think so.
But Taylor deserved to die. She can the little fucking
Yeah.
bitch. Like fuck you.
But just the
But she's yeah, there was a
ripping her
lot of bloody
tongue out.
deaths. Well, what about how they hung up Romano's second from the ceiling and were constantly stretching him out and like torturing him on a daily basis and like telling him like we'll tell you what happened to your son if you tell us blah 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 knowing they'd already killed him. Like they were like full blown torturing that man. Yeah. Well, anyway, while they were torturing him, obviously they got information out of him or else it would be fucking pointless. But basically they didn't really like find out where Romano was, but they did figure out what Romano's plan would be, which would be to start trying to host like a sex trafficking, like what do they call that? When they sell them on the stage. Auction. A sex auction fucking disgusting pig. Anyway, and that's what he would
Yeah.
probably do to get people to be on his side again. And then if all else failed there, he'd go into hiding somewhere and get one of like his
Well,
inner circle
yeah,
people to help him.
yeah,
Anyway,
because he has like political famous, not famous, but like well-known
like
names
Scar's
surrounding
dad.
him. Yeah, so if anything happens to like that's like the other side of his business, he protects himself with powerful people.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're like, okay, well, he's gonna do this, and then if we can do that, if we can take that down, if we can demolish that, it will send him running to those people, and that's how we'll be able to find out who did that to Scar all those years ago, because we know
Hmm.
it's gonna be one of his inner circle people. And so they like have that as their plan. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Da 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 da, whatever. Um,
Dare
and
goes into one of his clubs, right?
yeah, so they send Dare in. Obviously, we talked about Dare in the last book. And Dare is one of the dancers at Steel Roses. Well,
And
because of
one
the
of Scar's
war,
friends.
and yeah, and friends with Scar and everything, obviously, but the Scar's really close with all the dancers, but Dare's the only one like we've really truly met now, and even then we didn't really meet her until Jade's book. But um so she's a dancer at Steel Roses. Steel Roses has to shut down because of the war for safety reasons, because other places of theirs have been burned, people have been stabbed, there's been fights. Like, it's just not safe to have a space that has so many, like, people, innocent people in that building all the time, open when Romano might target it.
And
So they
everyone knows
shut,
that Luca's office is there too.
yeah, so they shut Steel Roses down. Well, because they're shutting Steel Roses down, Dare is supposed to go and like just like Scar's offering all her dancers other jobs in the meantime until they open it up again. Um, but Dare actually goes up to Scar and is like, I want to help you, and the only way I know I can help you is by going. So there's this like dirty ass fucking sex club that can't be trusted. It's a strip club, but it's like
But
it's
they steal girls
the
from there
people
and
that
sell
go
them.
there, yeah, the people that go there like Romano kind of people. So
Sketchy.
she's like, I can go there and I can work there and I can get intel. And Scar at first was like really against it, but eventually like they're running out of fucking options, so they have to send her in. Not that they appreciate it, and they were always waiting outside or whatever. Anyway, well, Dare gets information and gets them tickets to the auction. Obviously, Scar and them can't actually fucking walk into this auction or anything like that. They'll have to sneak in, but they can give the tickets to like Rachel and Alec because they can go in the regular way. Um, so they end up doing this whole fucking thing. They go, they save all the girls, they burn it all down,
It
they kill
was
everyone in the building.
so
So fucking
cool.
cool. I don't want to talk too much about
Hmm.
it because you just got to experience for the first time yourself. But everything goes fucking seamlessly. It goes
Hmm.
seamlessly. And you're like, that went a little too well. Like, there's no way that this is the end. Like, I'm sitting there like,
Someone
I
got
don't
shot though,
feel
but
okay.
still.
Nico got stabbed, but in the leg, and it wasn't like life-threatening or anything
And it
like
was
that.
Nico.
And it was Nico. You're like, oh, okay. But, so it's like, okay, well, like, that went like too fucking like smoothly. Like, there's got to be something coming here. And so you're just kind of sitting there and you're reading and you're like, "Okay." Anyway, so Scar, Ryder, Luca, Rachel, Alec, and was it Cade with
Cade.
them? Was
Yeah.
it Cade?
Noah
Because they
went
didn't.
with Noah went
Noah
with
went
Nico.
with yeah. So Nico, Noah,
No,
and
Declan
Declan.
went with no. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Noah also went with him though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Noah, Declan, and Nico all went back to the house. There was a few other people that had like minor injuries. So Declan was going back and helping sew everybody up, and Noah went with him just for like help or whatever, I guess. And the rest of them, and also Noah doesn't have an urge to like burn shit down or kill people. It's not like, you know. Anyway,
Just a
so
normal dude.
he's
Mm-hmm.
not normal by any means
Normal.
necessary, but he's definitely more of the tech side of things. But yeah, so they send um so the other ones go off and they go to that strip club Dara had been working at because she made them promise that they would burn it down. They would save all the girls in there and they would burn it down. So they go to do this. Well, Alec ends up beating Ryder in rock, paper, scissors and gets to be the one that goes into the building first, gets a feel for things and everything like that. And while he's in there, and he like before he goes in, actually, he says something weird to Rachel. He calls her his moonstone, but he's never done
Moonshine.
it was moonshine, okay. Calls her his moonshine, but he's never done that before. We've never
No,
heard a
and he's
nickname
like
come from
kisses,
him.
like he kisses her like right in front of them, like
You
very.
But
start
it's like
liking him.
well, I
See how
already liked
sweet
him
she
long
is.
before that. You already like him, but like now you're like
No,
seeing more
I
of
didn't.
them. Oh, I already liked him. We already knew a lot
Like, I
about him
did
by
not
that
like him,
point.
but I was starting to, like, connect to
Yes.
him,
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
is what I
I
mean.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I was already really attached to Alec at this point, and that all that moment made me feel was anxious and anxiety because why are we getting to see this just before he goes alone into a fucking dangerous building? What the fuck is going on? And also, it was weird. He's calling her
It
this,
was
kissing her.
it's different
Not,
and to the point where
yeah,
like I can't remember whose head we're in, but to the point where they actually
Ryder.
say he's never done
That
that
was
before.
weird. Yeah, we were in Ryder's head. And then, so Alec goes in, whatever, and you're in the car. Everything, you think everything's going to be fine for about 2.2 seconds. And then Alex's comms start going weird. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? And then they're trying to like get into the building, whatever. And then the building is on fire the next thing you know. The building is blowing up. They can't go in. Scar's on the ground screaming Rachel, who's trying to get into the building. They're both covered in glass from the explosion. Ryder gets down on the ground and is like covering them both from the explosion as Rachel's just screaming for Alec. Because you heard just before. Okay, so what? The first two explosions had already gone off. They're already outside freaking out. She's trying to run into the building. Alec finally goes to say something. You hear something that sounds like it could be a gunshot, and
And
then
then silence.
but it wasn't. It was like they could hear the fire crackling. So it was like the
Mhm.
earpiece is there, but he's not. He's either not breathing or he's not with that earpiece anymore. And you
Mhm.
don't know what's going on because then another explosion goes off, and now Rachel's on the ground screaming bloody murder for Alec. I'm sitting in my bed sobbing my eyes out because I can't deal with this. Scar is holding her, trying to hold her together, but even Scar's having an emotional breakdown, is like sobbing her eyes out. So then that made me sob harder. And then Ryder gets down on the ground and is trying to protect them from the glass. And eventually he gets off of them and he literally lifts Rachel, takes her to the car. He holds her the entire way in the car and has to carry her into the house because like she is just Rachel's like gone
Distraught.
at this point. Like
Yeah.
there's no Rachel behind her like eyes. Like she's just not there right now. Rachel's out of commission. And after that, Cade and Ryder kind of take over her drug business just till she will get back on her feet.
Mhm.
But it's not in this book because this happens pretty damn near the end of it. Um, but while they were doing that and Alec was dying and horrible, absolutely horrible things were happening, Joe, our lovely, lovely Joe, was in the middle of putting CR's dead fucking body inside of Romano's hotel room and setting
Mhm.
up a camera so they would see his reaction.
And a
Anyway,
tracker.
yeah, but then it's all forgotten about. You don't remember. I mean, you kind of like get distracted because then Alec dies and you're so
It
focused
doesn't
on
really get
that.
brought up.
It doesn't get brought up again until the funeral's over.
Yeah.
And
The
so you go to
funeral.
the funeral. I was just like sobbing. You kind of have hope for Dark and Douchey for about well, you have hope for Dark and Douchey for the rest of the book because you don't really hear anything about him again until the next book. But trust me, you're gonna lose that hope on that man real fast. But yeah, and then so Dark and Douchey is there, and like Scar kind of talks to him. Is like, you need to like talk to her. Like, even if you think she doesn't want to be with you right now, if anyone knows her
And knows what
better,
she's going through, it's you.
it's you, and you need to. And she calls him Dark and Douchey. And he said it's not the same without hearing Alec like make a comment after. And I'm just
I
like,
know.
I was like crying. I was like,
It was
oh my
so
God, this is
sad.
horrible. But yeah, and but this did kind of like as fucked up as it is, it did force Rachel and Jade closer, because Jade was really there for Rachel throughout the entire thing. Um, so that was like really good to see. But that's kind of where it leaves us off with them, and then they go home and they do watch the video of Romano. And this man is a motherfucker. Like, he didn't give two fucks that his son was dead. He just cared that
No.
they had gone into his hotel room and he was scared they were coming for him.
Yeah.
And
He did
that's all he
not
cared
care.
about. Like, he did
No.
not care at all.
Like there was like a half a second where he goes, "What the fuck?" And then he's
Hmm.
like, "Well, where are they?"
Yeah. Then that's literally about it. And then at this point, it's like, okay, well, Romano fucking has been missing for a few weeks now, obviously, because they didn't watch the video until weeks later because they were dealing with the whole Rachel thing.
Hmm.
And so now they have to try to find him. He didn't take the tracker with him. So you can't track him.
He took the
And
tracker to part of the way, found the tracker, left it.
yeah, exactly. He
Yeah.
doesn't have it with him wherever the fuck he ended up. And
Yeah.
they weren't on top of it because of everything going on, so they weren't able to track him and then just continue tracking him on their own without the tracker.
Hmm.
Um, and so you're kind of just like, holy fuck, like, what are we gonna do? Well, Declan has the same connections to Scar's world that Scar would have if she was still Charlotte. And who is a part of that world? Everybody Romano would be trying to hide behind.
Hmm.
So they all go to a party. Well, they don't actually all go to a party. The rest of them are hiding in a van. But Declan and Scar go to a party, and they're at this party, and it's boring. They don't think they found any intel, and they're about to leave. And let me just say, this book started off with a prologue. All of them have, and all of them have been flashbacks to back when whatever was going on with Scar happened. And this one was about someone that we hadn't really focused on before, but you kind of, if you paid enough attention, there was hints of him in the first book when she
Hmm.
looks at Cade and says that she can't ever be with someone with blue eyes and blonde hair until she realized who it was and realized it was Cade. But you kind of like get the feeling that she wasn't talking about Cade. She was talking about someone else.
There, you knew that there was
And
someone else
and then
around.
yeah, and then Cade and Luca had mentioned her having a boyfriend in high school who had turned her back on her. And this prologue, you finally learn his name and you learn kind of more of who he was. I mean, who Scar like would remember and remember her version of events. And so you meet this man. His name is Charles. And as at the end of the book, as Declan and Scar are walking out of the building, they're gonna go leave. Someone says Charlotte. Look over, and then you're left waiting, and thank God we weren't actually left waiting. Um, we read it immediately after. But God, I could not have lived with that cliffhanger.
There's no way.
Actually, I couldn't live with any of these cliffhangers, like at all.
Yeah.
And we're living with one right now. Well, kind of Damaged and Deadly's cliffhanger wasn't as bad, but like at the same time, you're like, I just want to know what the is going on and
Yeah.
who is going to be who.
Yeah.
But
But
no,
I was thinking
cliffhangers would have
like
killed me.
I'm like, oh my God, like she's like about to just get like kidnapped again, or Declan's gonna die, and like something's gonna like you have no idea what to expect next.
I didn't think
Yeah,
anyone
but
was
we
going
don't.
to kill her though. I mean, I never really thought Scar would get kidnapped or anything. She's too like badass for that. There was never like any leeway. If anything, maybe Declan could have been kidnapped.
But you
But
have no
like,
idea who this man is.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I put two and two together that it was the guy from the beginning of the book with the way she said the blue eyes and everything.
right, but you don't know who the man in the beginning of the book is.
But anyway, but I mean, I wasn't worried for Scar's safety. Mental capacity, maybe, but not her safety. I don't think I've ever worried about Scar's safety. Maybe just Noah's. I've worried about Noah's safety a few times, but I've never like worried about Scar.
I was worried that that person would be like, "Oh my God, it's the fallen prom queen. She's back." And then like
And
out
bring
her to
attention to
everybody.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nervous about that.
Yeah.
Like shit
Yeah,
was gonna go down.
I never worried about that, but I think that's just because in my head I was like, I don't. If this person outed her to this entire room, I don't see how she could go with the rest of her plan. Like the last book would just be like, what would it? She would just kill everyone in that room then and there. Like she wouldn't be able to let that actually get out. So like her plan wouldn't be able to fully go through. If people knew she was still around and where she was, I feel like it would have been a completely different book. I don't
Right,
know.
but we didn't know what was coming next, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying I never thought it would be that. Like in my
Mm-hmm.
head, I never once thought that's what was happening. And whether I knew what was coming up or not, that's not what I thought was going to happen. That's just my opinion. I never thought it was going to be a thing. Um,
I immediately
Mostly
thought
because
my
I didn't think it made sense for the storyline, if that's what would happen. I was more worried about it being, I was more worried about it being someone from, oh my God, my brain's not functioning. I can't remember. I just remember I was worried about it being someone that was gonna bring shit up, and then I figured the person would end up dead within like the first like 5 chapters, is where my head was at. But
hmm
I thought it was gonna be like another one of those things that brought up memories for her, but not necessarily like out her, but more like memories, because I mean, it's Scar. She shut that person up before it really got out there. So I don't
I
know.
was just worried like how loud that person said her name.
Charlotte was. I mean, Charlotte's a common ass fucking name. As long as they didn't say Charlotte Devereaux, it was okay. If they had said Charlotte Devereaux, then I would have been panicking a little bit. Or if like she had an uncommon name or something like that. But
Yeah,
anyway, what was everybody's favorite part of the book?
Taylor's death.
That was a good one.
Taylor's death for
Mine,
sure.
mine was when Ryder needed to come down from the high of his kill, and him and Cade tag teamed Scar while she was bloody on the hood of a car.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my
Yeah.
second one too.
Yeah, that was a good one. But also the kids. We didn't talk much about the kids in this one. Because
But
all the
they're still
kid
in
scenes were
hiding.
this, yeah, but all the
Yeah.
kid scenes that you did see were basically the exact same scenes that you had seen in
hmm
Damaged and Deadly, so there's not really have a lot of point in talking about them. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, I think that would be my favorite part of the whole book.
Mine was definitely the I love you confession. So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Loved
so
it.
cute. I love how yours is so wholesome, and then
I
ours are
always
so
pick the
fucked
wholesome
up.
parts of the
Yeah,
book
yours
because
is
that's what is
wholesome.
my favorite. That's what I like.
Mine is normally gruesome and Carly's
Mine
just normally sex.
ranges. Sex,
Or
gruesome
crazy.
sex. Yeah, that's usually where I land.
Yeah. Yours involves blood always at some point.
Oh yeah, there's always
Mine
blood
normally
somewhere.
involves murder.
Yeah, yeah. She always picks the wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Anyways, I
well,
think that's it.
that's it for this episode. We do have one more episode left in St. Graves, so don't you worry. We gotta wrap it all up. Um, but I will be crying when it's over because this is how I'm reliving it for the first time, and I'll never get to do that again. And it's depressing.
I know, but we still get more like St. Graves stuff.
Yeah, but like I'll never be in Ryder's head for the first time again, or Scar's head for the first time again, or Cade's, or Luca's, or Declan. I don't care so much about that one. But the other ones, it's really sad to me. You know?
I don't know why you hate Declan so much.
I don't hate Declan now. He's just literally my least favorite. He's at the bottom. I still love him, just not nearly as much as I love the others because I have more of attachment to them. Because Declan, I took until this book to fully warm up into him.
Mm,
So
That's
like
crazy. I was the opposite.
I only
yeah.
loved Declan for 2 books, whereas I loved the rest of them for 4 books. Like of course Declan doesn't mean as much to me as the other ones do. Because I had a much harder time with him in book 2 than you guys did.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Declan feels like he's just like one of my best
Just
friends.
safe comfort.
Yeah.
I feel like me and Declan would have issues. I don't know why. I just do feel like I don't know. I would get into it with Declan somehow.
What? It's not
I
good.
don't know.
It's not
I
good.
love Declan, but he's definitely like at the bottom for me.
Declan feels like home, like
I feel like
comfort and
yeah.
safety.
I feel like Luca feels like that for me, but I also feel like when Declan appeared in the second book, I get so in tune to characters' emotions, and I was more in tune to the guy's emotions in that moment than Scar's when she was missing. So when she's with Declan and they're at home drinking and fighting and all this shit because they can't cope, I think I hated him so much for them. Like he just pissed me off for being with Scar when I thought the boys deserved it way more. And then it took me a really long time to get over those feelings towards Declan. And then by the time I did get over those feelings towards Declan, I didn't have a hell of a lot of time left. And then so I love him, but I'll never love him as much as the other guys just because I have more of an attachment to them than I do to him because I disliked him for so long.
I think it's because you were more mad at Scar than we were.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was helping her and wanted her to go back and like
I
encouraging her and
I
like
wasn't mad
supporting
at
her.
Scar. Not one time was
She's the
I
one that ran away
ever
from him.
mad at Scar for leaving
I don't think
at all.
I was mad at Kate and Luca. You know what it was? Is that I was just really upset with her. Not mad at her. Like, I got why she did it, but I was really upset with her because of Ryder and Noah. And that was really hard for me to accept because I was just like, I don't get why. Like, I get why you left Kate and Luca. I really do get why you ran away from them. They're being fucking dipshits. Even Noah a little bit because he was part of like the whole trying to push her to open up. But the Rye thing just really, really upset me, I think. And like seeing him be like that, and it was kind of like it felt like a betrayal because it was like he like is going through what you went through. Like if anyone should understand the pain he's in, like it's you, and you just left him behind. And I think I
Yeah.
was just really upset with her for that. And then you're reading what the guys are going through, and you're reading what she's going through, and I was really like, I obviously like wasn't upset with her like when that was going, but it was more just like when the book started, that's how I was feeling because of how the last one ended and the whole thing with Ryder and his dad and everything. And so when this book starts and she's like cut them all off, I'm just kind of like I was upset with her on their behalf. And then I don't know. And then Declan came into the picture before I was over that. And then I was over it with Scar and like just wanted Scar to come home and like everything to be good again. But I just wanted her to leave Declan out of it at that point.
And I think
I
that it's
think,
that's because
yeah.
you're a more compassionate person, whereas I am more like, fuck everybody. I can't deal with you, so I'm not going to just bring you along because I'm fucked up and then it's going to fuck you up more. And but like you are
I've
more
done
like you
this to
would,
people.
yes.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
just need to leave and do what's right
Yes.
for you in that moment. And
Yes. If she had Ryder, it would have
I
made it
think
worse.
that's
that's
my
right.
problem too, though, is that I think that you can do that unless what you're doing is like actually like directly hurting someone else and you're not thinking about them at all when it's someone you should care about. If it's like she just met Ryder 2 fucking days ago, yeah, leave him on the side of the road. He can figure his fucking shit out. But like you've been like there with him this whole time, like going through this whole thing. You know that his sister was one of those girls sold. It's not that hard to look
Yeah, it
at
sucks.
this dad's
It
name,
sucks.
the daughter that he sold, because obviously you found out that he sold the daughter, and Ryder had told you his sister's name. Like, and I know that she was in this like manic state, but if she had paid attention for 2 fucking seconds, she would have realized that that was Ryder's dad, and she just did that, left him like. There was just so many little things that it was like, yes, I get it. I think I'm just like a different person though in those
Hmm.
senses
Yeah.
though, because I could
Hmm.
never do that, and it really ticks me off when people do. But I think that's because I've had it done to me where I've just been left behind, left in the cold, left in the dust. No one gives two flying fucks. And so when it happens to other people
So
that I
then, yeah,
don't
you have
think
to,
fucking deserve it,
yeah.
I'd go to war for them, and it pisses me the fuck off. So, and then obviously I get what Scar's going through, I do, and it's an excuse, and it definitely is an excuse to leave behind Luca, and it's an excuse to leave behind Cade, but I don't think that it's ever even healthy to cut every single person out.
I
and like
think
go off the
Yeah,
honestly
rails.
she's not a
until
regular person.
yeah, and I think
Yeah.
honestly until you're in a situation where you associate every single person with the thing you're trying to run from, regardless if they did something wrong or not,
Yeah,
and
she
you
wasn't with
leave.
it. Like she just needed out.
Exactly. She associated Lucas with them, Ryder's with
But
them,
yeah, she hurt
Cade's
people
with them,
along the way.
everything.
Yeah.
They are
No,
they
but
are what
that's
I'm
what I'm
running
saying.
from.
I'm saying that I
Exactly.
was upset with the guys. Well, I was never upset with Ryder because he didn't do anything wrong. But I was upset with the guys and I was upset with Scar. But like but the guys weren't doing anything else to tick me off in the second book. Whereas when Declan came in, it was just like, oh, so you have time for him, but we've left. It was just like, it was just kind of like, come on, man. But but the guys pissed me off just as much as she did in
Oh
the
no,
end
I'm
of the
not. Yeah,
last
I'm not.
book.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
But
they're equally at fault in that sense. It was
yes.
just like there was things that ticked me off. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, I think like because you've never been in that situation, you've been on the flip side, and like I have been my version of Scar in that. So I understand like the associating everybody in that one group, regardless if they all did something wrong or they didn't.
This
So
is
I
just like
had
max capacity where people's like lives are being affected. It's not like a normal thing. It's like a breakup
exactly,
or whatever.
But like
exactly.
there
This is
are
like
like
book world,
aspects.
so it's a lot
Obviously,
worse.
like yeah, we haven't been friends forever. I've actually been on both sides of it, but I've never I like there was certain people in that like situation where I'm like you're being affected by this too. I can't just leave you behind. But that's just because we have different personalities and that's just always how it's going to be. But I have
Yeah,
been on both sides of the coin.
yeah,
And um so it's like I get it. I know why she did it. Like I understand it, but that doesn't mean I have to be like okay with it because I wasn't.
No,
And I
for
also wasn't
sure.
okay with Cade and I wasn't okay with Luca. And they were doing some things that I was like, well, stop your fucking whining. If you had just had a conversation and not treated her like a child, she wouldn't have ran. I don't want to hear your fucking bitching and whining. So I was upset on both ends of the spectrum. And then Declan just, I don't, he just came at the wrong time for me to be able to accept him fully in that moment. But also, I don't think I ever would have right away accepted him fully because I was so set on those first four. And then throwing the fifth one in there, you're kind of like, well, for me, I was kind of like, "Ugh, I
Yeah,
don't like,
for you.
you know? But
Okay,
somehow we've gone
Becca's.
back to the second book again. Um, we
Yeah.
need to wrap this up. So we will be back to talk about the last book next week. Um, for our last day in our last day in St. Graves in the Steel
Burnout.
Roses series.
That book
Um,
has so many of my favorite parts in the
yeah,
entire series. There's like 10 of my favorite parts.
yeah. So anyway, but yeah,
That's
we
it.
will see you guys next week. Bye,
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
guys.
We're
Fucking can
never gonna
never do
fucking
it.
get it. Never gonna happen.